Okay, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folari. My guest this morning, we got KURTIS ADIGBA. Mr. ADIGBA is a lawyer and political consultant. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And right next to him is another lawyer, Ahmed Abbas, and political affairs analyst. Thank you as always for coming on.
Thank you.
Now, our subject, our theme this morning is, so who's afraid of direct primaries? That's the sort of question. I don't know if it's a rhetorical question, but let's just leave it as a question. So who's afraid of direct primaries? Of course, the backdrop to all of this is that the APC put out the word that we will be, filling all elective positions internally by way of direct primaries. Apparently, this is everybody, every entitled person, every member of the party votes. And you look at what the result is, and that's it. But not everybody is down with that. There is also the matter of indirect primaries. Okay, it's straightforward, but then it's also not straightforward in the sense that it was put out, by last week, by the end of last week, that apart from the presidential ticket, I think every other person would be, by way of indirect primaries anyway. APC corrected itself over the weekend too, putting out a statement by a spokesperson saying that, let's not get it twisted, the party favors direct primaries. However, if there is a pressing reason why there should not be primaries, direct primaries in any state, then it should make a case for that situation after a meeting at the local level of all parties concerned. So it looks to me like we're back to where we were at the beginning, which is that yeah, you can have indirect primaries, but it's not a straight route. Now, let me just ask my guests this morning, being political analysts and political commentators, what they think about the situation. And this morning, This Day newspaper has it, backed by governors, APC state chairman, move against direct primaries. This is something specifically that the APC has warned against. We don't want our members moving against the position of NEC, even though it is a proposal that has been sent to the NWC, and they don't expect anything untoward to come back. Give me your views, Mr. ADIGBA.
Thank you so much. I will start by asking, why should anybody be afraid of direct primaries?
And one man, one vote.
Yes, and why should they cause so much problem? But however, we also must look at the basic law of the party, which is the constitution of the party. The constitution provides for both set of primaries, direct or indirect. And the party is at liberty to adopt any of the two, depending on its thinking and where it fits better. Now, the difference between indirect and direct is simple, that delegates are selected to go to certain places and elect those who are contesting for elective offices. Now, direct will be that all the registered party members will participate. And those who have argued in favor of the direct primaries is that, look, the crux of the argument is that this promotes democracy because it gives wider participation to the people who will ultimately vote in the election. Now, the other side of the argument is that it could become messy because you have everybody, and so it's difficult.
Apart from the expense involved.
Apart from the expenses involved, and that it becomes more difficult to manage. And that is why the NEC is saying we would have preferred direct primaries. But in situations where we cannot, and reasons are given, we will do indirect primary. I think that's fair enough.
We will consider it, yeah.
Look, before the Osun primaries, there was this argument all over whether it should be indirect or direct. Eventually, the party went for direct. And we're told that if the outcome was fair, free, and seemed to be credible, members of the party after that were pulled together. But what happened after that election? As good as the result was, or as transparent as the process was, some people still left the party because they didn't get the ticket. So I think the APC has found itself in an impossible position.
Okay, let me see how you come at that whole matter, Ahmed. It seems to me that, as is explained, on the surface, nothing could be fairer than direct. However, what is it that is odious about it to some? What could be the apprehension?
Thank you. I think for every man that is a student of our democratic practice from 1999 will actually agree that what the parties have been practicing is not democracy. There has been no internal democracy. It is electocracy. You are aware that whosoever emerge as the candidate of a party is not based on his competence or popularity with the people. It depends on how deep your pocket is. Because the delegate system simply allows some privileged set of people to constitute themselves into a power block. And the aspirants begin, the aspirants begin to jostle for their attention and money, the highest bidder. If you are offering a delegate 100,000 and another person offers them 200,000, you can be sure that the man who offers 200,000 naira will eventually win the ticket. That is what we have been practicing from 1999 to date. For me, I think the parties are beginning to realize the temperature of the Nigerians is reaching the boiling point. They want to be part and parcel of the internal democracy of every party. And they are beginning to realize that there's this rebellion, which is a progressive one, that no, we are all stakeholders in this enterprise called Nigeria. And if you do not allow us to participate in those who govern us, how they emerge, then we have the freedom to cross carpet to any other party. And like I said, in 2019, you are going to see emergence of candidates that probably might not be from the majority parties of PDP and APC. So long as your people are acceptable, I mean you are acceptable to your people, you are going to win an election. So the party, I think, is simply reading the mood of Nigerians, that Nigerians are becoming more conscious and they will brook no nonsense because the journey to the promised land has taken too long. The contradictions we are seeing within our political, contraption called Nigeria is inexplicable. You can't explain the contradiction that a nation that is so blessed with material, human resources, we are, sitting, living, and people dying in poverty. It's inexplicable. So a lot of people are coming out wanting to be part and parcel of the system, and I think the parties are reading the mood of the people that, look, except we allow the people to take ownership of this democracy, any party that thinks they can take Nigerians for granted is actually joking, because the consciousness of the people, my God, is really at the boiling point.
You see, I wonder what you think, Kurtis, because what we are experiencing now within APC, if public reports are to be believed, is a disgruntlement, a pushback against this sort of reformist agenda that, look, our constitution is the way it is. It allows for both. But we, the NEC, we're saying this is everything that Ahmed has just said. We're reading the mood. People seem to want this change. They want us to bear our name. We're supposed to be changed. We're supposed to be fair. We're supposed to be different from the other guys. After all, that's how we came into office. So this is what we're going to do. Now, there's a pushback, just as there is a pushback on the corruption front. So we are told. Okay. Trying to adjust and change the whole equation for corruption, why it is so easy. There's this pushback. That's what we're told is all the political instability in the land. Does that surprise you that within the party itself that should be the bastion of fairness, the bastion of transparency, we're not having these problems?
You see, democracy is not one-size jacket that fits all. Now, the tendency to think that an indirect set of primaries are unconstitutional or undemocratic is wrong.
No, nobody ever said it's unconstitutional.
Or
undemocratic.
Undemocratic.
No.
I think it is basically down to what the people themselves prefer. And let me ask you a question.
But sorry, sir, before you continue, as you are well aware, the party spokesman in explaining it said that where there is thought to be a need, after a meeting in the state, for example, you now present that whole state resolution to us for consideration.
Okay, I agree. No, the point I was going to make is, look, for most of our people, it makes no difference whether it is direct or indirect primaries.
You think so?
Yes, and I will explain why. Because the truth of the matter is that those with deep pockets and huge war chests will still be able to get the votes that they want to get from the people. What people want is just that opportunity to participate and benefit from the possible loot that will be shared.
Well, if we're starting from there, that's a problem right
there.
there.
Listen, that's a problem.
That's a problem right there.
And we can't hide this problem because, you see, we are experts at covering the real intention. Do you understand what I'm saying? As you understand, there are those who have questioned the fact that the electoral college votes in the US is undemocratic. Because what it does is that it could put somebody who has lower votes and lower support from the people, the voters themselves, in position of power against the person who has more votes. But that is the system they have agreed upon. And before you enter the contest, you know of that provision. Now, members of APC knew from the onset that their constitution allows for both types of primaries. I think the problem here is that of an average Nigerian not preparing to go into a contest that he or she can lose. We must win it. And if we don't win it, then the process is not fair. Number two, don't forget that the parties have got structure. And if I am sitting down as the leader of the party, I'm looking at my party structure and say, in terms of value, and in terms of that which gives me the chances of achieving what I want to achieve more, okay, and easier, am I going to go with the unwieldy direct primaries, or I want to go with a manageable situation? Because don't forget, the same delegates we are talking about, other than the delegate tolls that the governors will bring, the same delegates will be elected by members of the parties who would have voted in the direct primaries. So I think that the basic issue is not one of participation, really. It is one of the mindset and attitude of the Nigerian people. Take that attitude to our general election. No matter what you do in our election, some people will never accept it. I used to say to my friend that if God will send angels from heaven to conduct election in Nigeria, the sons of Satan will still say it is not properly done. Because we are not wired to accept outcomes that are not favorable to us.
Indeed, and on that particular theme about outcomes that are not that are thought to be unfavorable to us, maybe you wanted to speak on that.
I slightly want to disagree with my learned brother here. Look, if you are a Nigerian, I keep saying it, Nigerians are the easiest people to govern. They are not asking for too much. Honestly, with the kind of oppression we have gone through in this country, that this country is still standing is basically predicated on the boundless hope and faith of Nigerians. We've been traumatized. All Nigerians are asking for is opportunity to determine who governs them. They know who they want. The indirect system, indirect voting pattern of these parties actually enthroned godfatherism. What it means is that one godfather sits in one corner of this part of Nigeria and simply determine from inception who becomes the candidate of the party, regardless of the opinion of the vast majority. It's very easy. If you have about 200 delegates, it's easy for you to manipulate 200 delegates. But it is absolutely going to be very difficult for you to think you are going to manipulate 500,000 delegates, members, or members of the party that are up to about 1 million or 750,000 naira. All of them cannot face one direction. So what direct primary simply means all the party members will sit down to determine who they want. It will take someone who is actually very popular with the 500,000 members to emerge as the party candidate. You can't bribe all the 500,000 people. But it's easy for you to pocket 150 delegates. Absolutely. For me, that's your personal opinion.
Yes.
My personal opinion is that if you allow direct primaries to become the culture of these parties, you will see Nigerians elect only people that are credible. And you will see it's also going to encourage a lot of people to participate in this. Because then I simply know it's not going to be based on how much I have, but how much I am in touch with the grassroots.
Indeed. Okay, that's on one level, but I wanted to pick up on that. How about this whole matter about influence? You know, we've said that, look, the problem with, or shall we say, it is thought to be a challenge with indirect is that you actually set up some people to become, godfathers, and be able to influence. Now, I wanted to ask, if money is suddenly not relevant when it comes to direct anymore, how about influence?
Money?
No. Well, money, of course. Before you have influence, you probably had that. But how about the influence bit where it is people are actually now looking in certain directions to see where are you leaning towards? Okay. Because I can follow, as opposed to smaller leaders. So I wonder if this whole influence thing
there is the theory of politics.
Has disappeared as a result of direct primaries.
There is the theory of politics, and there is the practice of politics. And we must make a clear distinction between what is theoretical and what is practical. I have participated in the process before, and I know what it takes. You don't go around sharing money to individuals.
If in a direct primary?
Even in a direct primaries, you will not share money to individuals.
You can't. How many?
Listen, let me explain to you what happens. Even if your pockets
are said to be bottomless.
Let me tell you what happens. And it doesn't take...
Okay, since you've done that,
it doesn't take you so much more money if it is direct primaries.
How does it work?
The truth of the matter is that how many people can you even convey from all the villages to gather in the state capital to choose a governorship candidate or senators and all that? It's difficult, But the reality is, when they want to give out money to facilitate voting, they do it on ward basis. The ward has got a chairman, all their leaders. They take money and they go around and share to their members, and they tell the members. This is because, one, we have not gotten to that point in this country when majority of the voters vote because of what is on offer. Voters don't vote for what they want. They vote for who they want in this country. And who they want is a function of so many things. It's either from their area, or is the one that their political leader prefers, or is the one that has spoken in the past or made promises to them on certain things. Now, the point I'm making is that, look, all over the world, let's look at
the political leaders you just spoke about. That people, you say that people will consider who their political leaders prefer. And in an indirect or even in a direct.
Even in a direct.
Because I was going to say, even in a direct, that is not necessarily
their influence does not wane.
It doesn't wane. And
it doesn't.
I wonder if it wouldn't transcend the leaders that would have been in operation in an indirect system.
I think it's the mode. Is the mode that people are beholden to others, that they look at their leaders, that is the problem. All over the world, you have leaders who exert influence on the political process. It's not necessarily about giving people money. Midterm election is coming up in November in the United States. Who is the democratic voice that everybody wants to listen to? Is the former president of America, Barack Obama. All the candidates are calling him to storm for them. It's not because Obama is going to go out there and give people money. It's because he's going to say the things that people want to hear, and in fact had the opportunity to practice those things. If you come back home here, there are some people, whether they give people money, whether they give others money or not, they have influence. Why do candidates who are seeking for elective offices go to Mina, go to Abeokuta, go to Yenagoa to talk to some of these former leaders? It is because they feel that these guys have control and they have influence over certain people. The point I'm making is, I am not against direct primaries, but I'm saying that, look, even in developed democracies, more developed than our own, the Democratic Party, for instance, it's not all primaries that are direct. There are primaries that you hold a caucus system, whereby only registered members of the party can vote. And then there are primaries that you have open primary system, that anybody can register a day to that election and still vote. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying in essence is that since the constitution of the party allows for this set of primaries, the party should be allowed to adopt whichever one it thinks is right for each situation. And that does not necessarily mean that that process is undemocratic.
No, it doesn't. And I think that where you landed is really, technically, I have to add, where we're at now.
Yes.
By the clarification of this APC spokesperson. But you want to...
Let me just add. You see, we must be able to distinguish what obtains in other clime and what obtains here. What obtains here, you can't take away the influence. There are opinion molders, leaders of thought, that constantly you consult when you want to embark on a project because they have goodwill scattered all over. But most times, in our experience so far, what determined the emergence of most of our leaders, our political aspirants, it's not because they have the interests of the people. It is, are you going to be loyal to me? As a leader, look, I have my personal selfish agenda that I want you to pursue there. Most times, most of the governors are bent on having a godson installed. Not necessarily because that godson will have the capacity to drive the development of that state forward, but that you are going to be your allegiance is going to be to me, not to the people. Most times when governors want to leave, they are not looking for the best pilot that will fly the aircraft of that state to a higher pedestal. They are simply looking for somebody that will cover their tract and somebody that will ensure that probably the perquisite of office they've been enjoying will continue. They want to be a godfather that constantly have influence over who comes after you, and who comes after you, and who comes after you. If that is our definition of influence, I want to disagree completely that is why we are where we are. If the direct primary that most of these parties want to embark upon would simply mean that if you think you have what it takes to take your state and society and community forward, you'll have the courage to go to the grassroots to campaign, tell them your policies, tell them your programs, even where those leaders of thought, ideologically, you do not belong to the same camp. Because as of today, the ideology is either you feed the pocket of your godfather or you funnel the resources towards the advancement of those are the two ideologies that is in conflict in Nigeria today. So if you do direct primary, it will give men and women who believe they have the capacity to drive the development of their nation, the courage and the faith to stand out and go to the grassroots to campaign to the people that I have what it takes, regardless of my not having connection to the political powerhouse that be. And
not needing to worry about being cut off by so-called delegates.
Yes, because by the delegate system, you can be sure there are some people that will never even emerge.
Exactly. MUKTAR in KANO, good morning.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning to
you. Good morning.
Let me contribute to this program. One, you see, direct primaries, he who is afraid of direct primaries is not popular and he is not credible. And to me, direct primaries promote democracy. It carries everybody along to participate. And it reduces money politics. And to me, since the president or APC has adopted, it should go down to the state and the local government. There should not be one doing one thing and the other doing another thing. So to me, direct primary is more of democratic process rather than the delegates who are being given money to choose uncredible and unaccepted people. Yeah, kind of imposition on the people to the leader that does not deserve to be there.
Okay.
So I'm in support of that.
Okay.
It must go down from the presidency to the state and to the local government. And everybody feels a sense of belonging because he participated in the political process.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in, although we have to be wary of sort of pigeonholing and categorizing, saying that, look, the result of delegates system is to install people who are not, who have, as he put it, paraphrasing him, who have no business being there. probably delegates, if they could speak as a body, would say no.
Primaries
That's
does
not
not
what
guarantee democracy or promote good governance.
But I think
it's
it
not
has
automatic.
a better chance. But
Look,
don't you? Many people
I
seem to
concede.
think it has a better
Look,
chance.
I concede to that. But I've just given you an example of what happened in Osun State. Look, what I'm saying is that I am not against direct primaries, but I am trying to rework the thinking.
That it is not a fix-all.
That it is a guarantee. I mean that direct primaries automatically guarantee good governance and participation of the people.
Well, nothing does.
You understand?
Really, in
Look,
fairness.
even the actual voting.
You only get that when you have the right people in situations.
And that is it. And you see, and in this country today, when I hear right people, I want to ask myself, in our almost 50-something years, is it that we've never had the right people in government? And if we have not, where are the right people in this society today?
Okay, let's ask Ahmed in Sabongari, Taraba State. Good morning. Ahmed, did you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go on.
Yeah, good morning. I'm hearing you, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to contribute to your program right now.
Sure.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. My point goes to Mr. Ahmed, but the point he made about the direct primary. Yeah, I'm in support in the direct primary because if you look at our politicians, most of them that acquire those positions, they are being funded by their godfathers.
Don't listen to yourself. Please just speak.
And actually, you find out that people are not, being carried in the democratic era with the current dispensation.
Well, Ahmed, thank you very much for calling in. Ahmed, you were speaking for a few seconds, listening to the echo. Speak a few more seconds, listen to your beautiful voice, and that doesn't work for us. Please, when you come on, if you're coming from upcountry, it's likely that an echo will be introduced. Resist the temptation to listen to your wonderfully beautiful voice. Just speak on, That's why we had to discontinue with Ahmed, because he was stopping every few seconds when the echo would come back.
Sir, he made an allusion to the fact that, direct primary does not guarantee good governance and all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
See, for anybody that is a student of Nigerian history from 1999 to date, the reason why those who are elected are not answerable to the people is the people never had any input in their emergence.
That's not correct. That couldn't be.
They had no hand in their emergence from the party platform.
Okay, you want to explain that?
See, in most of these African countries where you have just one party and one presidential candidate, will you call that one democracy? A situation where the people do not determine who emerges as a party candidate. If you know, as a governor, that your emergence is predicated on direct voting, primary, where people from all the local governments are part and parcel of your emergence, and that same procedure will be adopted next time for your second term. When you get there the first time, you are likely to listen to what the people want if you want to go back the second term. Indeed. But a situation where you know that, look, some 10 set of people can just sit down in Sheraton Hotel. It doesn't matter
what the generality of people feel.
Look, all you need to do is constantly pander to the needs of the elites, to those who led to your emergence. Yes. All you need to do is
take care of them.
Take care of them. You are guaranteed a second tenure.
Additional, is it in Ojo? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to your guests in the studio.
Sure.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, you see, one of the guests that said there's no problem with indirect and direct primaries. Of course, he brought out his submission. Yes, truly, if it is enshrined in the APC Constitution that both direct and indirect are valid to be adopted in their primaries. But we want him to look at holistically which one is the best. If you look at it, for that we give wider participation to the registered members to participate. I think that direct is the best option. there will be nobody influencing any members to choose. Then rather you will go for the popular candidate, that the people will know that this one will deliver what they have appointed him to do. So if we look at it, direct is the best out of it. Yes, he has brought his own submission. They are indirect, nothing bad with the indirect. But the direct is the best. Look at the, if you compare and contrast, you look at the one that is better. I believe that is why we have problem in this country. We go for lesser, and we try to justify and debate over that lesser thing. Even the most crucial, the most essential one. I think if we choose the direct, it's more appropriate and it's the best.
Okay.
For this, our democracy will move forward. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I've got to go on a quick break now. Okay. I'm going to come straight to you when we return from the break. Stay with us, please. We'll continue with this topic. Welcome back. And so we're looking at the whole question of primaries, you know, within the parties, and direct and indirect, and especially as it relates to the ruling APC. Been a bit of contradiction, you know, that has now been cleared up. Originally, it was said that, you know, there will be direct primaries only in certain instances, and in other instances, it could go indirect. But the party has now said that actually its preference is for direct, even though its constitution does allow both systems. But in the case of the less preferred option, if I can call it that, they didn't say it was the less preferred, but that's the second option. In that case, then you'd have to have a meeting in the state concerned, and all of you would have to have a position, present it to NEC for consideration. We'll go from there. So effectively what they're saying is that if all were to be in order, we'd like, as in Oshun, to go the direct primaries. Now, what you gentlemen have said as the benefits and sometimes demerits of both systems, I wanted to ask, it is thought that with indirect, there's a godfather, and there are fewer of them, so it's easy to sort them out if anybody had any mischievous, you know, intentions and had deep enough pockets. That's on the one hand. Now, I wanted to ask, with direct, are there not also within the party leaders who could just do a nod and a wink? Okay. No more than a subtle nod and a wink that is who I would vote for, and I'm expecting whoever is loyal to me.
It doesn't even have to be a nod or a wink. Look, this is the reality.
And even though it is direct, many people would say, this is what the leader wants. So which one was that one that you were saying?
Let me tell you.
That is the sub-leader who was now addressing them. And, you know, I wonder if...
You know, I talked about the theory. I talked about the theory of politics and the practice of politics. They are two different words. The reality is, indirect or direct, the political leaders still have their influence. And there's no other...
more influence with direct.
Yes, much more.
Much more.
Let me tell you, because
now they could actually...
The way the party is organized, let me tell you how the party is organized.
Okay, you said you've done this before.
They start from the ward level before you go to the local government level.
And this was the experience you had as well.
Yes, and do you know why the local government system has suffered so much in the hands of governors? Whether it is by election or by appointment. In fact, most governors would prefer to appoint local government chairmen because it gives them the leverage over the voters in those areas within, because they have to bring them, whether it is direct or indirect. These same people are the ones who will harness these people and harvest them and bring them to the voting centers. And they already know what they are coming to do. Now, or if they are doing election, that's why you see, in most states, when the elections are conducted to local governments, the party in power wins all the local governments, as if the opposition party disappeared overnight. It is all in preparation for this. So the leader of that party, whether it is direct or indirect, he has got his influence working for him. Now, the best way to look at it is you find a state governor defecting from one party to the other. and you find that all the leaders of that party, in all the structures within the state, defect
With him.
with him. And those that will refuse to defect, we immediately have serious problems, either removed or some things are contrived and then try to put them in trouble so that they can quit and be replaced. So what I'm saying is, look, direct primaries is desirable, but it's not a silver bullet.
Okay. What do you think about that, Abbas? The fact that there might still be leaders who are sufficiently strong, influential, to affect, simply by telling their preference, the outcome.
Yes, you can't rule it out whether under direct or indirect. But the indirect primary, all it requires is not necessarily a leader who has the interests of the state at heart. In the direct primary, you must, of necessity, be someone that has built your goodwill and influence positively over the years for you to be able to manipulate positively the outcome of an election when it is direct. Because, see, why do you think there's always a contention between the governors and the presidency and the president? Because under the indirect primary, the governors are so powerful that they determine whosoever is going to be the delegate that will elect the president. And so the president is at the mercy of the governors because the governors determine who emerges from the state to elect the president. Now, the indirect primary is trying to whittle down the power and the influence of these gods and give the power back to the ordinary man who is a member of the party. If you look at the structure of any party, look at the structure, elected officials, governor, House of Rep, House of Assembly, and senators, how many are they? Sometimes these are the people that determine the fate of tens of millions of a state. But now, the party, APC is saying, let's go throw it back to the owners of the party, the over 500,000 members, over 1 million members of the party to determine who becomes the governor, who becomes the House of Rep, who becomes the senator.
But
if you are really popular,
yes,
if you are popular, you should be able to embrace the direct primary.
That's on the one hand, but I just remembered as you were speaking,
yes,
what kind of members are these? Are they financial members? Are these people, do they pay party dues? When you look at the register.
Correct.
Are you sure that it is not maybe something like a dozen people that are actually floating the party?
No. See, let me tell you, let us not condemn when a party is trying to do what is right, even if there are flaws.
I don't think we are condemning.
No,
we are looking at the issues.
You see, they have read, like I told you, they are smart. They've read the mood of Nigerians. Any party that takes Nigeria for granted, whether at the presidential level, will do so at their own peril.
Okay, one moment. Yakub, good morning and thank you for holding on.
Yeah, Chiviori, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling. Good morning.
And then good morning to Mr. Abbas and the other gentleman in the studio.
Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. ADIGBA.
Chiviori, I can tell you that there's a proverb says that the woman voice is the word of God. Chiviori, if 10 or 20 people call to this program this morning, I can tell you the all of 10 or 20 will agree with me and then with Mr. Abbas in the studio that direct primary is the way to go. Why is it that? You see, who is the people afraid of direct primary? Is it some governors? Why? Because they know how to manipulate the candidate, the delegate. The other gentleman in the studio says that people in the locality vote for the delegate. Yes, there's no doubt about it. But can you imagine that after they have been voted for in the ward local government, and then before they get to state, the government will have access to those delegates and giving them money. Look at Lagos State, for example. Lagos State is not even go to direct primary. The government that they are afraid of direct primary is those ones that they know that they are not doing good in their own various states. Because they know that if they are campaigning for the second time, and then the direct primary is going to use for the second time, and then you did not do good, as Mr. Abbas said earlier, you are not going to likely come back. And then the solution to it is this. If you are a party man, and then you know you are a cash carry party member, if the chairman of the party at the national makes it mandatory that if you're truly a party man, you should pay ordinary 200 naira. Chief Yori, we can be able to take the party from all this money mongler so that the party will be held by the ordinary citizen and the world. But the situation where party members are not paying anything. If the party member pay ordinary 200 naira, times 1 million members, Chief Yori, you know what it is. Thank you, God bless you.
Thank you for calling. I had to come to him.
Sorry, sir. Let me just substantiate.
Maybe just 10 seconds.
Yes. In MUSHIN,
yes.
In MUSHIN, there's a constituency there. I've forgotten the young man's name. He's an APC member. The party leaders do not like him in that constituency. And the guy has his touch with the root. Lagos is basically an APC state. Yes, sir. You are aware of that. The leadership did not allow the young man to emerge. Probably, maybe. And the guy cross-carpeted to a court party in Lagos State, MUSHIN. Center of, you know MUSHIN is you should say it's a center of APC. And he won an election.
Okay. Please continue.
I think the case here is spoken about. There are many of that in this country. That's actually to test the popularity. Look, I'll have to make this comment.
Before you go further, let me quickly bring somebody in from MUSHIN, and then you continue.
Okay.
OPEOLU in MUSHIN, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori. My name is not OPEOLU. I'm OPEODU Kolawole.
Okay, Mr. OPEODU Kolawole.
Honorable Kolawole OPEODU.
Good morning.
Yeah. Those who predict the future create it. What the open primaries option that we're seeing today, I believe. Can you hear me?
Direct primaries, you mean?
Yeah, direct primaries.
Please continue.
Okay. Direct primaries is not something that we should take for granted at this time. Knowing fully well that that is what people are demanding for at this point in time. But then we cannot say what the leadership, we cannot see what they are seeing. But the truth is, if we truly want to create a better future, then we must start looking towards the direction of direct primaries. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So he's
Yeah,
voting for direct primaries.
No, I agree with him.
Okay,
You're projecting into the future.
Okay. Now, I asked the question about what kind of a member are you? When we talk about 1 million members, 2 million members, that kind of a thing, are you a paid-up member?
Good. You see, here's the issue. The issue is that the register of members is maintained by the party leadership. And they are the ones who will tell you who is a member and who is not a member. Now, the mere fact that you affiliate with the political party does not make you a member. And you know, the crucial point for me in democracy is that the people don't just own the process only when they want to vote. They should own the process, the entire process. And what that means is this. You know, elections in other countries, the candidate don't necessarily have to spend his or her own money to win an election. People contribute funds to the candidate, and they own that candidate. And the candidate goes in there, and he knows that, look, I am here because of the goodwill of these people. But what happens in our own country is the direct opposite. You that is going to seek for the elective office, you are the one who is made to pay the people to come out and vote for you. Whether it's in a direct primary or in an indirect primary. And I'm saying, as much as direct primary is preferable, because we think that it enhances the process of democracy. You know, it gives leverage to more people, gives opportunity to more people to participate and be satisfied that indeed it does not automatically guarantee good governance and guarantee good candidates for elective offices.
Neither does the other direct primary system.
No.
But Mazi Okorafor is waiting in ABIA, AROCHUKWU. Good morning. Imo State, actually.
Good morning, I guess, in the studio.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
This direct primary to me, I think is the best. To me,
Indirect.
The indirect.
Okay.
Now, you see, what we have in Nigeria that people have, in Nigeria, people don't like change. And people like that situation whereby we continue moving the same system. When you want to bring a change, people start complaining. Why are we complaining? We borrow things from outside Nigeria and come in and play to Nigeria. It's good for us.
To bring in a system that is good, that is when you go there, you have what you call credibility. When you go there, you have a system that nobody comes back to complain. This issue of going to court, this litigation after voting, it's always a problem. Now, it's a situation whereby when you finish the election, you see somebody going back to the court to challenge the candidacy of the it's always a problem. At the end of the day, we spend more money, we spend more time, and people look at us as if we are not a serious in terms of democracy. So the earlier we move on to the system that is favorable to everybody, the better for us, so that we have to move forward. Let us stop this archaic brand of democracy. We should talk about corporate governance in this country to move forward. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day, Lagos.
Thank you. Thank you, Mazi.
Sir, the issue of funding of party, the problem will be solved if we're in the same party, and I love you as a person, I want you to emerge. And I know by consensus, we, the ordinary people, who are not deep pocket people, you're actually the one we want, and you emerge. Our participation financially will be enhanced, guaranteed, and encouraged. Why would you want Nigerians to bankroll a system that they have no input into? When one godfather sits in one place, bring 1 billion naira, and decide to bring his son, who has just graduated from Oxford University, to be the next governor. Why should I come and put my money down? Until I know that my input, my voting, my impact affects the process. You can't make me be involved. A situation where somebody sits down, bankroll a party, sits down in Dubai, and decide to, and call from there. Were we not in this country when somebody was outside the shores of this country and determined who became the governor of a state? Why would you want the people to be involved? If you want the people to be involved financially, let them take ownership of the process. Break the backbone. I'm coming. As a student of Nigerian history, UPN in the 1979s to 80s and all the rest of them, when they were governing, members paid membership fee. You understand me? So let Nigerians take ownership of the electoral process, internal process of their party. Encourage them to pay. Once the godfathers know that they no longer determine who emerge as their as a candidate of the party, and that they have nothing to gain when this man gets into governorship. I'm telling you honestly, their capacity and their willingness to bankroll the electoral process will reduce dramatically.
Shola Inekiti, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. How are you, sir?
Thank you for calling in.
You see, we have to develop. In fact, I like this yellow man that is talking. I like it.
Ahmed Abbas.
That Abbas man. You see, the point is this: we refuse to grow. Now, let me give you an instance. I have a lot of respect for the Jagaban of Nigeria, but let him. He's a very nice man. He's a very articulate man. He's an experienced man. But let him go down. See. Anything you have to cherish it. APC doesn't belong to the money bank, Let us change from the one we were pursuing before. Let every member be contributing 100 naira. If you are a carry member of APC, let everybody be contributing 100 naira in a month, in a year, that is. That's what I don't do. The party will be so rich. Imagine the population of APC in Nigeria, multiply it by 100 naira. You know what it is. The party should have money. This is a situation where somebody said the president should bring to 53 million. This, Mr. Abbas I'm seeing now. Can he get to 53 million? Even the president himself said that money is too much. So the party should be rich. Let everybody be contributing 100 naira. 100 naira, when you look at it, is small. But when you look at the multiplying effect, the party should be richer than individuals. Individuals are richer than the party. That's why we are having all this mess we are having.
All right, then.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Yori, I'm not here as the spokesperson of Jagaban, but I have not read anywhere that he prevented party members from contributing to the post of their party, of their political party.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
Look, so what is it that makes the average Nigerian not want to pay his dues?
No,
you don't want to do it with NEPA. You don't want to do it with water rates. You don't want to do it with parking.
I'm not going to come here
and so on and so forth.
I'm not going to come here because I want people to praise me and bend issues. The truth is that the Nigerian people are not prepared to fund good governance. They are not prepared to pay their part in setting up a good government. Trust me, as election is coming now, with all the grammar and the noise you are hearing, people are preparing and waiting for who will bring them money. Look, we tend to make this argument that the delegate system does not reflect democracy at all. But the delegates are not foreigners. They are also Nigerians and part of the same political party.
But they're also playing on what Mr. Baz and the gentleman from home are saying, that it's because the Nigerian party members do not pay their dues.
Look, the point I'm making is...
So you have a situation where...
I think we're making the same point, but saying it in a different way.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is that, look, once the people take ownership of their party, it goes beyond saying, I'm a member of the party. You have to fund the party, you have to fund the candidate.
No, people don't do that.
And then
people
you can then decide who becomes the candidate. Yeah. But so long as you are waiting for one big man to bring you money, and the fact is that majority of the people in this country today who participate in the electoral process are waiting for people to bring them money to do what they need to do.
That's on the one hand.
Yes.
And on the other, those that are even aligning themselves with parties saying, ordinary folks saying that they're members of this party or that, they're actually hustling. They're actually in there.
Yeah, hustling for position.
Yeah, they're hustling for
benefits.
positions. It's not about any idea or anything like that. Let me quickly bring in Mr. Ibe. Ibe in Surulere, good morning. Ibe in Surulere, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, first one is let's forget anybody that thinks that direct primaries removes the power of party chieftains. That's not true, because these powerful chieftains, like leaders of the party in the various states, has already installed local government chairmen and secretaries of the party, even up to what level. They have already put local government chairmen. When you go to visit, any candidate go to visit a local government, he's going to report to the local government chairman of the party, who calls members of the party. So anybody he doesn't want to call will not be there. All you have done is that you have spread more people to benefit from the largest, instead of sharing money to delegates. You are now going to share money. All the candidates will now go visit the world and share money to party members. Look, I've been in politics. The man in a white suit, blue suit, he may be a career. He talks about what is good. Yes, but he doesn't work in politics. You are going to move all the party members to local government secretariat, party headquarters, where this direct primary election will be done. Look at two places. The two places where you have done direct primaries in Ekiti and Osun State, it led to crisis and decampment. All I'm saying is that the chairman of APC that's bringing direct primaries came through consensus. Why did he not come through direct primaries? If you think that direct primaries for you to nominate the presidential and governorship candidate of a state where you have up to 20 candidates, you are going to, who will move the party members from remote villages, the wards, to the state headquarters where the primary will be done? Who will lodge them in hotels? Because this primary will take all over the night. You are handling more population. You are going to share more money. There's the logistics of transportation, logistics of hotels. Who is going to accommodate them? Many of these party members are poor people. Why party members like it is that you are broadening the benefit. You are broadening the benefit to everybody. It's not as if it will throw up a credible candidate. Because if the party chieftain candidate doesn't win, he moves it to another party to contest against the party candidate. So what happened in Ekiti State?
All right.
So what happened in
Osun
State?
All right.
They did direct primaries, and members, even commissioners in the government, they come to another party and they're contesting the same election.
Okay, so I take your point. I take your point. Thank you very much. I take your point. But I wonder if we're not looking for problems in the option that we don't really prefer. Because some of those things that were said, look, there are alternative ways. Because, for instance, this whole question about the cumbersome process of bringing all prospective voters to a given venue doesn't necessarily obtain. There are alternative ways to handling that matter. So I wonder if we're not looking for those.
What are the alternative ways?
Go and meet them instead of bringing them to you. Go and meet them in their own environment.
Okay.
You know, that's an option.
And that takes away the influence of their leaders.
Mr. Yori, let me just quickly say this.
Because yeah, that was our last call, and really, you can only wind up now. Maybe you got you about 30 seconds
under the direct system, what they are trying to do is every member of the party has just one single vote.
Yes.
The chairman has one vote. Everybody go there and vote for your people.
That's the intention.
There's no system at inception that is 100% perfect. When they manufactured the aircraft that we are now flying today, it was very crude. You keep refining a system, and that is it. And when it talks about, you see, leadership is very crucial in any society or community or nation. When you keep blaming Nigerians, Nigerians don't want a good leadership. The vast majority of Nigerians want good leadership, and they know what they are looking for. But the leadership constantly has a way of frustrating that system. So for those who want to restructure the system in such a way that Nigerians' orientation will be right,
so
let us encourage them.
This is a beginning.
This is the beginning.
Okay.
This is the beginning.
Very briefly, please.
I know
this is the beginning.
I know it's attractive to put all the blames on leaders.
But
the leaders come from the same society with the same MVP. The motives, the values, and the principles. What you see in our governance is what you get with the same people who elect these leaders. Look, there is no country that has developed. Look, leaders play a very important role. Authoritative allocation of resources, showing the direction. But when you show the direction, people have to agree to follow you. There is nobody occupying any elected position in Nigeria today that did not give money to be voted for.
Okay, we've got to leave it there.
So
that's a fine place to leave it.
You cannot just put all the blames on the leadership alone and don't look at the followership.
Okay, we'll continue on this theme tomorrow, but because there are also complaints with what it is costing to be a candidate in APC. And members are up in arms, quote unquote, that hang on, how come our party positions now cost more than in PDP for goodness sake?
For me, it is deeply troubling.
And we are not supposed to, we're not the money bags.
Yeah, it's troubling.
So, but we'll look at that tomorrow. I know that's what we're going to look at tomorrow. Okay, so that's our program. Thank you very much for being with us. And gentlemen, thank you very much for giving us, the benefit of your perspectives. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing, at 10:30 in the morning. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.